G'day! Today we're looking at how to clean your bearings. So why should you clean your bearings? There's a few really good reasons. They will roll a lot faster, more smoothly, they'll be quieter, they last a lot longer, and they will save you money because you're not replacing them as often. You'll need a few things. Firstly, you need a skate tool. You'll need some acetone or isopropyl alcohol. You'll need a jar or some kind of small container with a tight fitting lid. You'll need a sharp knife or a blade with a pointed tip. You'll need some bearing lubricant and an old towel or cloth of some sort, preferably something that doesn't have any loose fibers or lint. So your cleaning procedure goes like this. Take off your axle nut and the outside washer. Give the washer and the nut just a dry wipe on the old towel and wipe the axle of the truck with the cloth. So you can see here it's dull and dirty. Next, remove the bearing from the wheel. It may come out really easily. It may take a little bit of effort. So you can see here the shield is covered in dirt. So I give the bearing a wipe on the cloth to remove as much of the surface grit as I can. Using the tip of the blade, pry the shield out of the bearing casing. So at this point, I usually check how well or how poorly the bearing rolls. I give it a dry wipe on the cloth. It doesn't look like there's a lot of dirt on the bearing, but in actual fact, most of it is so small you can only really see it once it starts to accumulate. If you're using a plastic container, do a test first to make sure that the acetone doesn't dissolve the surface of the container. Now, pour the acetone into your container. Drop the bearing into the container and give it a good shake to wash the grit off. I'll use the opportunity to clean the shields thoroughly, especially the little lip on the shield. I find a circular wiping motion works really well for this. I'm tipping the acetone into the jar so that it's easier to get the bearings out and so that you can see just how much dirt and dust has come off the bearings. Test how smoothly the clean bearings move now. You can dry the bearing on the cloth. Doesn't really matter if you don't because the acetone will evaporate really quickly anyway. If they spin well and stop gradually, it means that they are clean. If they spin slowly or for a short time or stop abruptly, it means they're still dirty and need to be rinsed again. So once you're happy with the way the bearings are moving, it's time to lubricate them. Get your lubrication. I use Bones Speed Cream and place one drop or two really tiny drops onto one of the balls. Give them a couple of rolls to get the lubricant over the raceways. Now it's time to pop the shields back in. Line it up and give it a very gentle, even push. You should be able to hear a soft click if it goes back into place properly. So be sure to put the washers back on the trucks the proper way. One side is a flat side and the other side is a curved side. If you're not sure how to do this, then watch my how to set up skateboard video. If your wheels are really dirty and you don't feel you should be putting clean bearings into dirty wheels, then you should check out my other video, how to clean your skateboard wheels, and then come back to putting the clean bearings into your clean wheels. Check that the bearing rolls properly. So to put the bearing back in the wheel, place one of your bearings shield side down on the truck, put your wheel on top, and then push the wheel down on top of the bearing. Turn it over, do the same thing again, and then tighten the nut on the axle and check to make sure that the wheel is spinning nicely. You can see here the bearing is shiny and the shield is clean. You may have thought at the start of the video that the bearing didn't look overly dirty. Just look at how much grit was in the bearing. Remember, I dry wiped everything before giving it a wash. So what is now in the acetone has literally been washed off the inside of the bearing. So the grit that's in this jar has come from a bearing that was cleaned not that long ago and it has a shield. You can buy bearings that are shieldless, and I don't see the point of that at all, because you need your bearings to be lubricated, and if something is lubricated, it attracts dirt and dust. You ride your skateboard on the street, you ride your skateboard in areas where there's dust and dirt, and it makes no sense at all. So there you go. You know how to clean your bearings now. So probably no excuses for having horrible sounding bearings or whatever. Hopefully you find that helpful. Give it a thumbs up. I'll let you get out and have a skate or clean your bearings. I'll see you in the next video.